Hello student. In the previous session we see that how to develop a servlet or how many ways you can create a servlet. Now we will see that how you can deploy the servlet. Once you create a program, then what are the basic configuration are needed to run this servlet program. So first of all you just have to install the Apache Tomcat server or if any type of server which you want to work with. So if any server installed, then put the port number at installation time. So the basic we just use Tomcat server, and the default port of the Tomcat is 8080, but you can set that port number according to the basic needed, because once you use Oracle, so the basic port of the Oracle is also 8080. So you just have to change the port of this Tomcat server. Now in the next you have to set the class path in the system variable. As you all know that to create basic Java program, and to run that basic Java program we need to set the path, which is the value of the path value of the JDK or bin. So same as to run the servlet, you have to set one class path. So is the same procedure is you have to follow when you create any path, when you generate any system variable. So here is the system variable, and in the system variable you just have to create one variable that the name is class path, and the value is C program files Apache Software Foundation Tomcat lib, and then after servlet-api .jar. If you want to set JSP, then you can also along with set the path that is C program files Apache Software Foundation Tomcat lib and JSP-api.jar file. So this is all the basic configuration you needed when you run any servlet program. Then after compile the program, so compile servlet file, open your command prompt, and move on to the your destination folder, and then compile the program. So to compilation we just use a command as javac filename.java. Then after successful compilation of the servlet file, there is the class file is generated. So put that class file in following folder, that is the C program files Apache Software Foundation Tomcat web apps root webinf and classes. In your webinf there is no folder is created built in, that is classes. You have to create the classes folder and put in the dot class file in the classes folder, and then edit that web.xml file. So you see that in the webinf folder there is a XML file is there, that is web.xml file. Our basic configurations are done in web.xml file. So the changes you have to done is this code. You just have to add this code in web app. So there are the main two tags are there, servlet and servlet mapping. In the servlet tag you have to add two subtag, that is servlet name and servlet class. In the servlet name you just define any name of the servlet, but generally I use the basic configuration. So the class name is defined as the servlet name, so there are no miscommunication is done when you run your program. So servlet name and servlet class name is I define same. The servlet name is used for the mapping name, and the class is defined. The class file is generated, the name is same as the servlet class. Then the servlet mapping tag, in the servlet mapping tag there is also two subtags are there, servlet name and URL pattern. In the servlet name there is a same name you have to define which previously you add in servlet tag. So I prefer same name, so hello servlet. Then URL pattern. In the URL pattern, you just have to add one slash in your before the name of the servlet file. So just URL pattern is defined, that is used to run the program which you run on the browser. So here is the basic web.xml configuration. You just have to add in every servlet file when you run any servlet program. So this is the modification is you have to done in web.xml file. Then you just have to open your browser and run in the right as http://localhost:, then the port name you set in your Tomcat server, so 8080 or 7070, any type of the port name define, then after slash, and the file name is herein is the hello servlet. So just write down hello servlet. So the basic configuration is done by the modifying the web.xml file and the set the class path. So these two are the basic important tasks you have to done when you create your servlet program. Now we move on to the further in detail the servlet. So here is that how you can handle the servlet request and response. So as the figure shows that there is the two parts are defined. There is one is a client part and the second is server part. So client contains the web browser, or using web browser it send a request, then it request is sent to the container, then container define that which type of request is generated, then this request is move on to the servlet, and servlet is analyze the request and responses generated. So using HTTP servlet response is generated and it's stored in and to print the or to display the response we just need print writer class. So using print writer class the response is displayed and it is sent back to the client. So the basic scenario is defined that there is a request and response object of HTTP servlet class is done, and it all the process is done at the server side. So this way the request and response is defined and it is displayed to the client. So this is the basic handling servlet request and response. Now there are some classes and interfaces are used to handle this request and response, and this some methods is also defined in the classes and interfaces. So first one is HTTP servlet request class. It contains get headers method, get cookies method, get query string method, get session method. So this all methods are used to find the to fetch the data of the servlet. So using get headers method you can fetch the headers which is passed along with the request to the server. So this is the get headers method. Then the cookie is if any cookie is set with the request, so this get cookies method is written the list of the cookies. Then get query string, it contain the requested URL, and the get session method returns the current session. If any associated with the request, then it returns the session information. Then the servlet request interface also contain different methods. So there is the set attribute method, get attribute method, get attribute names method, get parameter names method, and get parameter values method, get remote address method, get remote host method. So these all the methods are defined and it is along work with request. So servlet request interface contains this all method to fetch the details of the request which is come from the client. Then there is also second class is there, that is the servlet response and HTTP servlet response class. Generally, servlet response class contains two methods, that is a getWriter method and setContentType method. These two methods are most basic methods which we must need in our servlet. So, using getWriter method, the uh, the the correct data that is come from the response is displayed using the printWriter class getWriter method. So the response which is generated by the servlet is stored in the printWriter object using getWriter method, and you can display using printWriter object like out.println. So this is the basic method which you need to display the response of the servlet. Then second method is setContentType method. setContentType defines that which type of data is defined as a response. So using this method you can set the response type. Now HTTP servlet response class also contains number of methods. So here the add cookie method, encode URL method, send redirect method, set header method, set status method. So the basically it is connected with the response. So the overall information regarding to the response of the servlet is fetched by the different methods. These are the basic methods. So add cookie method to add the cookie, encode URL which encodes the URL if any encoding is performed on the response. Then send redirect method, so the redirect the client to that particular URL. Then set header method, so to set any particular type of header, then header name and value is set and it passed along with the parameter of set header method and the set status method. So it define the HTTP response, that which type of response is generated. So to define the response, there is the status code is there. So using set status method you can set the status. Here are the example is defined, that is SC mode temporarily SC underscore OK. So status code underscore mode underscore temporary, it means that currently your page is moved on to the another page temporarily. Then SC underscore OK defines that the page is the request is your request is successfully analyzed and executed and the response is generated. So SC underscore OK status code define this all the information of the response. The basic which type of response is created is defined by the status code. Now we just read the initialization parameter. So whenever you create any servlet, you can set some initialization parameter. So to set that initialization parameter you can use web.xml file. In the web.xml file the key value pair form is defined. So just you have to add tag, that is init dash param tag, and in init dash param you have to add two subtag, that is param name and param value. So parameter name is defined as language and parameter value is English. So the initial parameter is set as the language is defined as English. So servlet initialization parameters are retrieved using the servlet config object, and the servlet config interface can also be used to retrieve the initialization parameters. So to fetch this thing, get init parameter method is used, and you just have to pass parameter name as a parameter in the method. Then the enumeration get init parameter names the number of initialization parameter you want to fetch. Then the enumeration is used, so it returns the form in enum form. So enumeration get init parameter name, so it returns the number of initialization parameters. So here is the example is defined, that the login, here we just create one HTML file. So there is the HTML file, and in the HTML file we create one form. that is move on to the valid serve.java file. So action is defined in valid serve, then username and password is defined, and the submit button and reset button is defined. Now in the web.xml file we set the init parameter, that is the parameter name as user1 and the parameter value is password1, and just to set the different servlet and servlet mapping tag. So the using web.xml you can set the initialization parameter. Now the valid serve.java is there, so just create one servlet file, that is demo servlet, which extend http servlet. Then in the doGet method just pass to parameter http servlet request and http servlet response, which throws two exception, servlet exception and exception. Then using response.set content type which is set the your response, that is the text or HTML form. Then create print writer object, then create servlet config object, that is servlet config, and to fetch the configuration, that is the get servlet config method is there. So get servlet config method fetch the configuration which is connected with the servlet, and it's stored in servlet config object. So using so the initialization parameter which we set in web.xml file is fetched and it's stored in servlet config object config. Now there is two string is defined, that is name and value. So the we set the value of the initialization parameter in these two strings. So to fetch the data, config dot get init parameter, and we pass parameter as user1, and now we just fetch the password. So config dot get init parameter, and in double quotation we pass the parameter as pass1. Now the username and password is printed. So using out.print we just print out the username and password. So this way you can set the initialization parameter using web.xml file.